Welcome to New York City, New York, where tonight the New York Lightning hope to bounce back off a bye and off a devastating 40-37 loss to rival Washington. Meanwhile, Minnesota is in town. The struggling Chippers down on their luck in the Western Conference, looking for a major upset. We already saw one upset here on Primetime tonight, but Lightning is in the area. Overcast skies. No rain tonight, it is held off, but instead we have the debut of Mackenzie Gray at quarterback for New York. Charles Doherty, Cameron Irvine here with you. Another exciting matchup here in the UFL, the final of Week 11.
Yeah, and this game, the stadium's electric, Cam. This is a big, big matchup. The Chippers are going to have to play a near-perfect game, I think, to pull this off. And, you know, they've got the right quarterback in Doug Falk to do this. Just going to have to not rely just on the passing game. They're going to have to balance it out, I think.
And we'll get our first look at Mackenzie Gray, number 4 in your programs. Sorry, Charles, but actually number 15 at heart. Wearing number 15 tonight. Her debut at the 23-yard line for New York. And she starts with a completion of 8 yards. That is up to Jalen Saunders, 2nd and 2.
And let's see if, she has the same type of game that Nate Hall had in the last game. Last game we had a new quarterback, on a new team, and let's see if she becomes a star tonight as well.
Robert Henson Jr., first down to the 43, a pickup of 13 yards. It was a hot topic of conversation amongst the New York locker room this week about what to do with Henson, averaging just 2.9 yards a carry, one of his best runs of the season.
Yeah, and the blocking was spot on, but man, he looks like a refrigerator with wheels, man. Big man, hard to bring down. When you give him a hole like that, he's going to capitalize.
Henson 6'1", 261, but in this very unique offense will play at halfback every once in a while, and so far so well. And that time they handed off to Henson on a delay, and Gray got blown up in the backfield. They both did, really. Loss of 4.
And they had to send a couple linebackers in the backfield to help bring him down.
Speaking of linebackers, Brennan Allen of Minnesota, unclaimed. He is the league's leading tackler coming into the game. 102 tackles, averages 11.3 per game.
Let's put him on the buses.
And he's not the biggest linebacker out there either at 5'11".
Standing on that right hash mark, and he's coming for Jupiter Jennings, and he makes the tackle. Let's meet this New York offense. Jupiter Jennings, one of the most electric running backs in the league, but Tom Frederick leads these boys up front at left tackle.
Yeah, this is a big third down tonight. We're going to see how that new quarterback responds in this situation.
Mackenzie Gray on a 3rd down and 13 with Henson in the backfield. Gray has time to throw and delivers. First down to the Minnesota 42. The pressure for the Chippers almost got there, but Gray's off to a 2-for-2 start. Jabari Taffrey with the catch.
Yeah, Taffrey looked like he was on a slant route there, and quarterback just stood right in the pocket. Gray presence there. The pocket was not even close to breaking down. What a great job of blocking for your quarterback there. But this offense, I like the way they're mixing it around, and they're running these routes that have a high completion percentage and building some confidence for their new quarterback.
First down and 10. The handoff goes to the speedy Jupiter Jennings to pick up 3. And let's meet that Minnesota defense. Unsung, there's not a lot of superstars on this team. We talked about Brennan Allen at middle linebacker. He's one to watch. Tyson Anderson, their top corner, also a threat.
Yeah, I mean, they, for not having any contract players on that side of the ball, they're doing okay.
They're keeping themselves in a lot of games. Their offense has really struggled. Sacks is going to be a big topic of conversation in Minnesota's first primetime game of the season. The handoff goes to Jennings. Jennings gets away and manages to get back to the line of scrimmage, but Minnesota does a real good job shutting that down. Josh Davis on the tackle. Minnesota just 19 sacks on defense this season, 3rd fewest in the league and they've given up 47. That is 8 more than any other team. They have got to be careful with that offensive front. That is a completion to the 13-yard line, a pickup of 26 yards. Mackenzie Gray's off to a 3-for-3 start, and Gordon picks up that first down.
Yeah, and that was a great route for the 6'5" wide receiver to find that seam in the zone coverage, and what great awareness by Mackenzie Gray to find the receiver with, the time she has to find that open receiver is pretty quick, and she was able to get pretty good release. And again, another play where the offensive line is given plenty of time for Gray.
Mackenzie Gray contracted in a women's professional league until up to this point, and New York finally was able to get her in the building down to the 6-yard line. That is Gordon near a first down. 4 for 4 for Gray to start.
And she's got a really quick release. I mean, not a lot of effort, movement in her arm. Just keeps it, tight, and just gets rid of that ball on a line.
She's been in the building for a couple of weeks, few weeks actually, because New York was on a bye. Jupiter Jennings has the first down to the 2-yard line. New York has had to sit on that loss to Washington for about 3 weeks, Charles, and they're finally back out there looking sharp on their opening drive.
Yeah, and the bad news for the Chippers, they need to improve on their red zone defense. It's one of the worst in the league at 30.
And Jennings is going to lose a yard, so there you go. Minnesota picking that up, and you're right, Charles. Minnesota, has been pretty good in between the 20s, but once they get down here, they have not gotten a lot of stops, and they're going to need some tonight against this powerful New York team.
They showed a lot on that play. Nice swarm into the ball. Group tackle, and that's what you need at this spot of the game on the field.
On the 3-yard line, 2nd down and goal for Mackenzie Gray. Hands it off to Jennings on a counter, and Jennings walks it in for the touchdown. New York, the fireworks are going off, and the Lightning are back, baby. Jennings from 3 yards.
Impressive series, Cam, and the stadium is rocking, and what a great way to introduce their new quarterback to the fans. I don't think they made one mistake on that drive.
It's been a tough night for the Hugo players. No new numbers. 3 and 7 as the extra point is good are off the board. If you're a new player here in game number 2, of course, you get 3 and 7 as well. 12 plays, 78 yards, 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Hey, Minnesota made them earn it, but New York got all of it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the Tyler Falk on the offensive side for the Chippers responds to that. Has to keep their team in the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much he pushes it downfield.
At the end of the day, Charles, they just got to keep him upright. We didn't see a lot of sacks in our first game of the doubleheader between Dakota and San Jose, but this Minnesota team really struggles not only to protect Doug Falk, but for their receivers to get open. It's not a deep receiving core, and they have struggled to get the ball down the field this year.
And I think just some creative offensive play calling, get a little bit more action out of Dalton Brown and Antonio Ross. Just get a good, doesn't have to be a killer run game, but just enough to keep the defense guessing and do wonders from the pass.
And again, Doug Falk takes a sack. Hawks with the takedown, 3rd down and 34. We apologize, we had disrupted signal there for just a moment, but this is back-to-back sacks for a 24-yard loss. It doesn't get worse than this, Charles, to start the game.
I mean, that's the offensive line has got to do better than that. I mean, they got to do better than that. And the play calling as well. If that means putting a fullback and a halfback to help protect your quarterback, another tight end, whatever, you got to do something to keep off upright.
3rd down and 34. Deep shot down the field, and double coverage is incomplete. There's not a lot of 3rd and 34 plays in the playbook, and Minnesota's got a punt. What a disaster. I mean, Minnesota coming into this thing, I mean, you knew that they had improved. You knew that they had worked on this offensive line. It just doesn't seem like anything has worked for this team this season.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and they gotta think of something here, because that first series, if that's evident of what we're going to see tonight, it's going to be a long game for the Chippers.
Minnesota just won last month. They beat Tennessee in the first double overtime game in league history, 26-23. They also destroyed Portland way back in week 1, 41-18 on the road. But since then, they have not found the magic, and their last outing was a 28-3 loss to El Paso. Minnesota brings the heat, and Gordon cannot hang on. What a hit.
Yeah, Tremaine just lowered the boom on that one. I thought that was caught, and I was going to say that was one heck of a catch, but I'm not surprised that wasn't able to hang on to that one.
Second down and 10 for New York, trying to make it 2 for 2. Gray, after her first incompletion, fires it over to Jabari Tafri for a lightning first down.
When we talk about building the confidence of the Gray at quarterback, just do those short dropbacks, get rid of the ball quick, rely on your wide receivers to do those crisp routes, and you've got some momentum going on your side.
Fake to Henson, roll to Gray, wide open, first down to the Minnesota 34. Beautifully executed play by Gray to Saunders.
And she's been playing like she's been in this system for 5 seasons. It's amazing. Her presence behind the center is just, she's taking command, and she's moving that team down the field.
Lightning feeling it right now. Minnesota has played some of the best teams in the league really tough this season. They only lost to Vegas by 12, lost to Los Angeles by 7, lost to Dakota by 1. So they have been in a lot of these games, but so far, so good for the Lightning. Here early up 7-0. The handoff goes to Jennings, and Jennings able to somehow get a yard out of that. 2nd and 9.
The defense has got to do something. They got to do something to help get some momentum and energy on both sides of the ball, because their offense is slipping. They need a shot in the arm.
2.5 to go. Jennings pushing forward, gets 6, up to 17 yards on 8 carries. Jupiter Jennings outside the top 25 in carries this season, but if he was in the top 25, he would be number 2 in the league, averaging 5.3 yards per touch. Gray going to set up the screen to Henson, and that one off the mark, and Minnesota catches a break. The Lightning will have to kick a field goal.
I mean, that was a break, but it also the pretty good execution on the defense side. They did not let the Lightning get any build on that last series they had. They were able to kind of dictate the terms there on the field, and now they're getting the ball back after this field goal attempt.
Oh, Minnesota blocked the kick, and it's scooped up at the 38-yard line. Does the big fella have enough? 30, 20, and tackled at the 18. The tight end McGee got him, but it was the defensive end, Stephen Perry, picking it up and setting Minnesota's offense in prime position.
Oh my gosh, that was a huge turn of events there for the Chippers. They needed, we talked about getting a shot in the shoulders, and that's what they needed.
Wow. So Minnesota, the big question though is, can Minnesota do anything with it? This offense, a horrible first possession, negative 24 yards of offense. Can they find some rhythm in the red zone? Yep. Fault to throw. Dumps it off. Allegheny, nothing.
I hate the rain on the Chippers parade, but New York is #1 in red zone defense, so this is going to be a big task for them.
New York now 16 of 21 on field goals. That's their 5th miss of the season. And New York has found some very creative ways to lose some games as of late. And they're probably sitting there in the stands going, come on, they have minus 22 yards of offense. Are we serious right now? First handoff of the night. Dalton Brown around the left side. 10, 5, down to the 3, 16-yard pickup. Nobody on the left-hand side for the Lightning.
And that type of run by your halfback is desperately needed for the Chippers. Got to have a running game, I think, in order to hang in this game and possibly win it. You can't just be relying on the arm of Falk.
Dalton Brown this season averaging 3.6 yards a carry. Does not have a rushing touchdown this season. Doug Falk has 2 of them, and the backup Antonio Ross with 1, but that's a pretty wild stat. Just 3 rushing touchdowns this season for Minnesota. First down and goal. They hand it off to Ross. Ross from 3 yards out scores, and the Yugo fans at home are going, are you kidding me right now? We can't get any numbers tonight, but Minnesota's got a number on the board and an extra point away from tying the game.
That was a huge, huge turn of events for the Chippers. Now they're in this game. They had their heads down a little bit, but man, that defense and special teams, did what they needed to do. Did that extra play on the field to get the ball back to their offense, and the offense went up against, like I said, the #1 defense in the red zone, and were able to put 7 on them.
All 4 games we have called this season, Charles, it feels like you never know what is going to happen. These teams are not lying down. I mean, they all have talent in their own ways, and Minnesota finds some offense against the #1 red zone defense in the UFL, and we're all tied at 7.
Yeah, Cam, I'm not going to complain, because the worst thing to do is, do a dud game. And so far this season, every game we've done has been electric.
54 seconds to go in the first quarter. We are back in action for a regular night of programming on Friday, June 20th. Your lineup includes Albuquerque, Vegas, St. Louis, Chicago, El Paso, Miami on game night, and then the 6-4 Fresno Bobcats take on the 4-6 Austin Lone Stars, a critical game out west. It should be a fun one here on VFN. New York back to work, and listen, they should have had 10 points on the board. They should have scored on their first 2 possessions. It wasn't the offense's fault. They haven't lost any confidence.
Yeah, it's definitely a lapse in special team. That blocking on the edge is what did them in.
Ready, 30 base.
-3 yards for Minnesota, and they have 7 on the board. Handoff, Henson Jr., nice juke, but Minnesota has been really good against the run tonight. 3 people again to the ball.
Yeah, and there's also, I thought there was a law in the UFL that fullbacks weren't allowed to juke.
I think that's a Thursday infraction. Second down, Henson again taking the carry and wrapped up pretty quickly. 3rd down and 8, back to the arm of Mackenzie Gray. Allen with his 3rd tackle leads the league.
Last 3rd down for the Chippers. They swarm the quarterback. Let's see if we see some pressure on Gray.
3rd and 8, Mackenzie Gray. 4-man rush, deep shot, wide open. Down the, what a tackle. Saved a touchdown. Deshaun Johnson makes a huge play. That is the end of the first quarter. Minnesota 7, New York 7 in the final game of Week 11 of the UFL's inaugural season on VFN.
Shoestring tackle, my friend.
He's Charles Doherty. I'm Cameron Irvine. New York racking up the offensive yards tonight in a tie game. Minnesota's blitz is picked up and wide open again over the middle of the field down to the 6-yard line. That is Saunders. Mackenzie Gray, 156 passing yards in the first half.
Yeah, that zone defense for the Chippers has got some serious holes in it, and Gray's been capitalizing on it so far. I mean, the receivers are so wide open.
New York, in that loss to the Washington Knights, compiled a whopping 418 yards of offense, completed 34 passes, rushed for 155 yards, still somehow managed to lose that game. They're trying not to repeat their same fate tonight here on 1st and goal from the 6. Play fake Gray. Gray looking for her first touchdown in the UFL. Look at the time. No one can get home, but Gray couldn't find anybody and is sacked by Tremaine. A loss of 11.
You have to get a sack out of that one. There's no way. I mean, that is like a huge smack in the face. If you give the quarterback that much time and just able to dink it in the end zone. I mean, the coverage downfield obviously was outstanding, but that defensive line has got to get past the blocking.
Tremaine's 6th sack of the season at linebacker actually leads the team in sacks. over any defensive lineman, which is pretty crazy. Second down and goal after the 11-yard loss for the Lightning. Gray, again, all kinds of time on just a four-man rush. Takes a check down. Henson Jr. is wrapped up in the line. That's Brennan Allen, the sure tackler, 3rd and goal.
That was going to be a tip ball. That lineman really skied on that one.
And this is Minnesota's first primetime game of the season. You can see why Brennan Allen is the league's best defender. And, folks, he is unclaimed. If you love to play linebacker, you could be a part of this Minnesota turnaround.
Yeah, there are a lot of good players out there as well.
Ready?
You said, who was that? You said Johnson, Deshaun Johnson?
Brennan, well, yeah, it's strong safety that made that touchdown saving tackle. 3rd and goal at the 15. Gray fires end zone, almost picked. Minnesota with the coverage, and it's the Chippers, not the Lightning, bending but not breaking here in the first half.
Well, speaking of Deshaun Johnson, I think he was the one that deflected it in the end zone. Maybe it would have been. Maybe it was. Maybe it was Lalich. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Lalich and Johnson in the vicinity. This is a 32-yard field goal for New York, and this one is actually good. So the Lightning get 10 and 32 off the board, and it is a 10-7 ball game. New York really should have scored on all 3 of their possessions.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they're that the Chippers are fortunate that they only had 3 on them. That could have easily been 7.
It is just crazy. 9:59 to go in the first half. New York's got like 400 billion yards. Minnesota's got minus 3.
400 billion.
Say again?
400 billion is exactly. You've got that down to the yard.
Yeah, we require accuracy of that. Minnesota has -3 and they're only down 3.
That's amazing.
Kick deep in the end zone, and they got to protect Doug Falk. That's where it all starts for Minnesota, and get that run game going with Dalton Brown. That was even though it was a short drive, that was a great one for Minnesota last time out.
Maybe take a page out of New York and do a little more of those quick short passes to get some momentum and move down the field.
175 is the accurate number. Doug Falk will fire over the middle of the field. That is complete. Hauled in by LaBrice Roland. Okay, back to the YOUFL numbers, Charles. We've got 2 more added to the list.
Can we start from the top or from the previous game?
Oh, yeah,
okay,
start from the top.
The numbers are 15, 7, 12, 14, 5, 3, 21, 9, 28, 10, and 32.
We'll see what else we can knock off the board as we're looking for our first YOUFL of the night. 2nd down and 9 for Minnesota after that 1-yard pickup on the previous play. Falk, 3 steps, fires it short. Allegheny's going the wrong way and fighting for extra yards, but right back to the line of scrimmage. That's the 2nd time we've seen Allegheny just kind of go into the flat for nothing.
Yeah, not making quick enough adjustment downfield. I mean, that turnaround was like turning a carrier around. I mean, it was a lot of time and a lot of distance.
A big body to turn around, 6'5", 274, and New York just too fast for that kind of work. Third down, 9 coming up for Minnesota, 8:18 to go in the first half. Falk, check down Allegheny, just short. And decision time for Minnesota. They could go for it on 4th and 1. It would be gutsy.
Well, you're 2-7. Why not?
I'm with you. Man, that was close. First down, saving tackle.
I think the key, Cam, is if you're going to do something like that, you got to get quick to the line and snap the ball so the defense doesn't have a chance to set it up.
And Minnesota's going to take the conservative approach. That was St. Louis wearing number 27 with that tackle, and this kick goes into the end zone. Overcast skies, not dealing with too much wind here tonight. And for Minnesota, I think the big problem is that New York is back on offense, because besides the block kick on special teams, they really haven't done anything to stop New York.
I gotta say, Cam, that logo for New York, it's so cool. It's like old school and new school, I think, all in one. That's a great logo.
Lightning brand, one of the best. Already one of the 4 helmets developed by Green Gridiron. That is caught by Taffrey. 182 now for Mackenzie Gray. She could set a record here tonight. And Green Gridiron's got 8 more helmets coming up towards the end of the month, early in July. It's going to be great to see more brands brought to life.
Yeah, Gray's got such a compact release and gets rid of that ball quickly.
Taffrey had time to shuffle his feet and figure out exactly how he wanted to get set on that play. 199 to 18 in yards right now. 7 minutes to go in the second. Gray's going to keep the pedal on the gas, and the foot slipped off the pedal. 2nd and 10.
I don't know who that was. I think the tight end, maybe McGee, maybe didn't run the right route.
Come on, set, 10 Lobo.
Jay McGee, a topic of conversation in Lightning circles. He's not really one of their biggest weapons, but he's been involved in the offense quite a bit. 2nd on the team in targets as Henson Jr. is dropped for a loss. Tremaine has also been great at linebacker tonight for Minnesota.
Yeah, that's just the poor blocking on the edge there, allowing Tremaine to get around that edge.
60 outlaws.
Since giving up the opening drive touchdown, Minnesota's defense starting to show. Oh, they brought a bunch of people.
Wow.
And Robert Henson's got a first down to the 38. They almost brought everybody.
What a smart play. What a smart play. And Henson executed on her. I mean, man, it's just scary when he catches that ball. Having the job to try and bring him down. And again, he's juking. Again, that's another fine.
I think Minnesota brought 8 on that play. I mean, they sent everybody after Gray, trying to test the young quarterback, and she found the check down beautifully. Second catch for Henson out of the backfield. Play fake to him, and they throw it over the middle. That is over to the numbers. That is incomplete. New York this week on their offensive adjustment, Charles, they said any pass at or near the line of scrimmage, get rid of it. And we have not seen it tonight. I think New York's got to be happy about that. Henson spins. He's got a juke, 2 jukes and a spin, Charles. He's racking up the fines.
Wow. Hey, this might be a typo, Cam, but there's no way that right guard Belton is 239. I think it's 339.
I think you're right. 3rd and 7. Gray, watch out! Oh, it's caught! I thought it was going to be picked. And then 1 yard shy of the sticks, Tyson Anderson makes the tackle. Decision time here for the Lightning.
Oh, wow. I mean, they're at the 29?
Yep.
Is that a 46-yard?
Yep. They put them up 6.
Why not? I'd go for the field goal.
Oh, Charles doesn't get it right this time. Here we go. 4th and 1. New York keeping the offense on the field. And Jennings is brought down to the backfield. That was a gut check for Minnesota's defense. New York saying, you can't stop us. We can do whatever we want tonight. No, Minnesota takes over.
And they also said, thanks for not listening to Charles.
Man, Charles Jennings stood no chance. Tremaine,
I know. I mean, I'm sorry. The linebackers they just got through that blocking scheme so quickly.
Wow. So Minnesota takes over. New York's drives tonight: touchdown, blocked field goal, turnover on downs. Still no punts. They didn't have any punts last week either. That pass hauled in, and then a face mask called on the Lightning defense. Granger with the catch.
I like the fact that the Chippers are, I may be wrong, but it looks like they're, implementing a little bit more of those shorter, maybe mid-range routes for the quarterback to hit, for Falk to hit him right off on a short drop and able to get the ball out quickly so the defensive line can't have any impact on the play.
New York this season was previously 4 of 4 on fourth downs. They missed that one. Handoff to Allegheny on a little end around, but again, nothing for Donnie. 2nd and 10.
We talked about on the previous game, Cam, those swing passes that aren't on the top of my list. That is like a close second. I do not like that play whatsoever.
Motor City executes that the best, the tight end sweep. They have had a lot of success with that, but Minnesota has not. Dalton Brown with his 3rd carry will set up a 3rd and 8.
I mean, they're not getting a lot of yards on the ground, but I like the way Minnesota's mixing it up. They can't be too predictable.
Out of the gun, Doug Falk. Back to throw, clean pocket. Got to find somebody open. Does, short of the 1st down. That's Tyler Falk's 1st catch. Doug is 6 of 7, but I think Minnesota's going to have to punt.
Yeah, definitely have to punt. And that route wasn't even close to the chains.
Man, it's so frustrating for the Chippers. This is a good punt, though. Inside the 10.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and it bounced backwards to the 10. That was not great. Worked out, though. You can see Gray's connection with Taffrey here so far tonight, but Charles, Minnesota's got to be frustrated because they get the turnover on downs and they can't do anything with it offensively.
No, yeah, I mean, the good news is they're only down by 3, but some of those mistakes, I think, if they keep going this route, it's only a matter of time for New York to capitalize.
Oh, play fake, Mackenzie Gray, all the way downfield, 90-yard touchdown!
Holy smokes! Oh. That was a fake, Cam. Unbelievable.
That is the 2nd longest pass of the season in the UFL.
The defenders they had their pants down by their ankles on that one. They faked them out so badly. He had like 15 yards on the defenders. They were playing catch up. What a great play fake.
And Jalen Saunders, who is available to be claimed, just made a fantastic play down the field. Wow, that blew this game wide open. And for Jalen Saunders, that's just his 2nd touchdown of the season.
And right when I go PG-13, Dags pops up in chat. Isn't that weird how that works out?
Yeah, he's always watching. What a play. And Brennan Allen's getting talked to on I was paying attention to Brennan Allen because I thought he was going to get there for the sack. I mean, he was almost through the offensive line coming in on a blitz. New York just feels one step ahead of the Chipper. The Chipper's not playing bad football right now, but New York's on a whole nother level. And Mackenzie Gray is going for a record tonight. That was sensational.
Yeah, I mean, way to fit into a new offense. I mean, holy smokes. That type of play right there takes a lot of practice to execute perfectly. And they executed it perfectly.
Man, oh man. Minnesota on a return, and they're going to have to get some points with a long field. 2:39 to go. We'll see if the Chippers can get into some no huddle and what they can do with that.
And it's a lot of real estate they need to cross, but they have time.
Ready?
Check pass. Check pass.
Falk starts the drive. 1st and 10 of the 27. Deep ball! Incomplete. Looking for rolling tight coverage. Appreciate the shot.
Did you get a chance to see those numbers that popped up for Falk?
6 of 8.
Go set. 8, read.
Oh, I thought you had a cop. Did you not see them?
They went up real quick.
Okay.
Man,
I had a further thought on that. That's really funny. 3rd down and 7.
They come up quick, man, and they leave even quicker.
You got your updated Yugo numbers. They carry over from game 1 if you were here for game 1. Doug Falk, screen pass. Ross has to get away from the linebacker. What a block! Ross breaks another tackle and gets out of bounds with a 2-minute warning. Minnesota hanging around. New York's up 10.
That was a great adjustment, Cam. A great adjustment after the catch. It looked like it was going to be a disaster, but man, after that, it was all the skills of Ross.
First down and 10 for Doug Falk. Off the screen pass. Sees Charles Doherty on time Cameron Irvine. Tyler Falk playing out there. Second and 1. There's no coming back from that, Charles.
That was awesome.
Doug Falk, his dad, his pops back there, second and short, firing over the middle of the field,
Nice.
Caught inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line, 1:25 to go in the first half.
And Doug Falk is built for this. I mean, he's got a cannon of an arm, and he's confident in that pocket. If they give you an inch in this 2-minute defense, he's going to kill you, and he's going to get them quickly in the red zone.
Dags in the chat. How do you mess that up, Cam? I have no idea. That is the exhaustion talking, I believe.
Set. 60 or.
First down and 10. 1:13 to go in the first half. This is a great drive for Minnesota. Play fake. Doug Falk. Oh, he threw a pick at the 2-yard line.
Oh, no.
Dawson with the interception, and that wipes away Minnesota's most successful drive of the evening.
Granger was wide open. Let's see if we see that on the replay. Threw into double coverage, and Granger was like wide open. Oh, man. I think we would have been looking at 7.
Dawson comes over to scoop it up. All right, just the last 4 numbers off the Hugo list, Charles.
Okay, 10, 32, 51 plus, and 17.
That adds to your game 1
On the ready.
totals from earlier tonight. 1:07 to go in the first half. Of course, you also have 7 and 3 that were duplicated from game 1. Another play fake for Gray. Could they try it again? Gray standing in the end zone, gonna hurl it again. Mackenzie Gray, incomplete, almost caught. Oh man, Tyson Anderson with a huge hit.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, that play felt like it took 3.5 minutes to execute. Oh
Man.
my God.
What a great job by the New York offensive line.
Yes.
Oh, they're going to go again. Gray. All day to throw.
Come on,
Gray
get out of here.
is going to be
Come on,
sacked,
there you
and it's
go.
a safety.
There's no way you can let that happen twice.
Holy smokes. And it's a 1-possession game, Charles.
Yeah, Carnes had to shut that one down.
Sometimes in play calling, Charles, you can just get too cute. And New York went to the well one too many times, and the coverage downfield outstanding. And New York is outsmarting themselves for the second consecutive game, Charles, because it's just like, put this team away.
I mean, why? The question is, why go to the well that many times? I mean, it's okay to do it once to keep them off guard, but man.
So 9 is the number that comes off the board for Hugo, not the 2. Similar to how 6 does not come off the board when you score a touchdown. So 9 is added to the list of called numbers here tonight. Doug Falk's updated numbers, 9 of 12, 74 yards and a pick, and still has 39 seconds and 3 timeouts to try to get a score before the half.
Buckle up, my friend.
Doug Falk over the middle, caught, 40, 42-yard line, timeout Minnesota, caught by Granger.
That was a nice play. I mean, it really was. I mean, you're not, you don't want to push it too deep. You just want to move it in, but you possibly throw it down and get it out of bounds in time for a field goal, maybe get a penalty downfield.
This is also, believe it or not, the first primetime game for the New York Lightning as well. And this team, sometimes they can be frustrating, but boy, their games sure are exciting. As that pass is caught again, I think that's enough for a first down. Yes, it is. Minnesota just on the outskirts of field goal range.
Definitely. And to contrast, when we were talking about Gray's release, it looks like Doug Falk does the LA Dodger pitcher windup when he throws that ball.
Yeah, he definitely has a maybe a little bit of a slower throwing motion, but it's his all the same. 14 passes, 6 runs in the first half for Minnesota. Can't take too long. They're going to go play fake. Falk deep down the field, caught and out of bounds. No, they said he was inbound, so they got one more play left, but they are in scoring range.
How did they call that inbounds?
It's where the feet are when the tackle is made. So right there, the feet are in.
Right. Yeah.
And they essentially say that he was tackled in the field of play, I guess is how they would rule that. Now Minnesota in scoring position here. They're down to 7 seconds, 6 seconds. They got to get the playoff, and they don't get another playoff. So they will have to settle for 3. But hey, the Minnesota gets 5 points at the end of the first half they really shouldn't have even had, assuming the field goal is good.
And that was a great execution of the 2-minute offense. I mean, they moved it down the field. They didn't try and roll the dice too much. Crisp route running, finding the gaps in the seams and the zones. And now we're looking at adding maybe 3.
A 44-yard field goal for Minnesota to end the half. That is good. And that means 44 and 12 are off the board here in game number 2. A total of 14 called numbers here on UFL game night. 17-12. What a bonkers first half. It doesn't get more crazy than what we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was going to say that New York on offense was having a really good game, great execution until the end of that second quarter. It's just man, they made a lot of mistakes and questionable play calls, I think.
So going back to New York and that play calling inside the 5, there is a specific portion of the playbook that handles offense inside the 5-yard line, and obviously New York would prefer to try to play action, go deep there, because they've done it 3 times in a row. It got them a total of 5 points, and that is their lead. Charles, 17.
What a weird score.
17-12. Those are your first half stats. Over 300 yards for New York. They're up 5. Your thoughts on the wild first half?
To add on to what I said earlier, I mean, I think the New York offense needs to settle down a little bit. I think they have a pretty solid playbook in place there. It's just, stop rolling the dice so much. I mean, you've been, imposing your will on the field. And I just don't put it in a situation where you make a mistake and give the ball back to Minnesota, because they've shown an ability to strike quickly.
Let's pause for league rights. We'll be right back.
This presentation of the UFL is intended for the private use of our audience. Any accounts or descriptions of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Everywhere.
Start of the second half. Charles Doherty and Cameron Irvine with you in our second game of our special UFL Primetime doubleheader. After tonight, Charles, every team has had their bye. 6 weeks remain in the UFL's regular season, which around here is about 10 and a half, as we play a slightly elongated schedule. But Minnesota, kind of making their last stand in this game. They haven't played great, but they have played good enough to have a chance to win in the second half.
So the great moments were, they scored in the red zone against the #1 red zone defense, and the defense, not having any contract players, is holding New York to only 7. I mean, they're giving up a lot of passing yards, but on the big plays where they really, really need it, I think they've been holding their own.
Hand off to Ross, his second carry. If you missed it earlier tonight, Nate Hall had 2 touchdowns in his debut, and Blue Crush had 2 picks in his debut as San Jose defeated Dakota in an upset 28-14 to improve to 5-5. A really quick throw out to Tyler Falk. 18-yard pickup, and that's that boom or bust you're talking about, Charles.
Yep. We've seen that play 45 times tonight, and on one occasion it worked out well.
45. New York hasn't run it at all because they took them all out this week.
I'll take my 45 over your 1 billion yards.
I knew you were going to be quick to that. I was setting you up hoping you'd find the historical context of that joke, and you did. You never disappoint. Handoff, Dalton Brown picks up 9 near a first down.
Yeah, that's what you need to do on first down. We said it at the top of the game. Got to get those running backs involved. And when Dalton Brown's been touching the ball tonight, he's been making positive yards.
2nd down and 2. Minnesota could take the lead to start the 3rd quarter. And hand the football off to Ross, who keeps his feet all the way down to the New York 36-yard line.
Ross was about to make a face plant there at the line of scrimmage, but was able to hold on and get a couple yards after that.
First set of downs for Minnesota, 2 minutes into the 3rd quarter. A late night here on the East Coast as Falk has time and checks it down to Allegheny, picks up 5. Doug Falk has not been pressured a lot since that opening drive.
Oh, you've done and said it now. But the good news is in their formations, they're leaving somebody back in that backfield to help block.
2nd down and 4. I sure hope I didn't just jinx him. Heavy set off to the right. They'll motion left. Got to get set. And they don't. Delay on Minnesota. You cannot have those breakdowns.
Well, I mean, that you could kind of say that it could be a result of your comment as well. I mean, something was going to happen. So. Your curse is still strong.
They were so worried about the sack that they ended up with a delay game. So 2nd down and 9. Minnesota had been staying ahead of the sticks on this opening drive. Play fake, Falk, quick decision. Allegheny breaks 3 tackles and gets down to the 18. Doug Falk is 14 of 17 passing.
That was a great execution of a play-action pass there. And the tight end just showing some magic after the catch. Not a perfectly thrown ball, but man, when he caught that ball, Allegheny just put his head down and gained about an extra, 8 or 9 yards?
Just drudging through Lightning defenders. My goodness, what a run after the catch for Allegheny. 8:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. This time the motion man goes a little bit earlier in the play clock. And they'll hand it off to Brown. Minnesota being physical up front. Brown near 6 yards a carry.
I don't hate the play calling, Cam, but don't put it all on Falk's back. Mix things up. Give him an ability to shine when he really needs to pass. The defense isn't expecting it.
2nd down and 8, and this is on a night where Tyler Falk's been really quiet offensively, but Brown loses 3 yards in the backfield there, and they might need Tyler Falk down here in the red zone, down 5.
Just don't. I said this in the last game a couple times. Just don't make a mistake here. You got to walk away with at least 3.
Minnesota in the red zone this season. It's obvious by their record. Would have had their fair share of struggles. Just 11 touchdowns in the red zone on 29 attempts. 3rd down and 10 at the New York 18-yard line. They fake the draw. The play action is picked up. And Doug Falk's pass is caught. Oh, dropped it. Tyler dropped it in the end zone. He had it.
I thought he had that. Oh, my gosh, Cam. Why are you running a play action on 3rd and 10? Who are you going to fool? Really? The coverage was really good downfield. You could have said he could have thrown to the top of the screen. Didn't see who that receiver was, but man.
Well, I was just more impressed that the blitz pickup occurred for Minnesota. The 35-yard field goal is good. 2 more numbers off the board, but oh my goodness, Tyler Falk had an opportunity to put the chippers up, and he was unable to come down with it in the back of the end zone.
Again, they got 3, and they've narrowed it down, and the chippers are hanging in there.
All right, Charles, from the top, starting with 15 on the Yugo numbers, 7:08 to go in the 3rd. What do we have out there right now?
Tonight's numbers are 15, 7, 12, 14, 3, 21, 9, 28, 10, 32, 51 plus, 17, 35. And I think 15 was already called, right?
Yes, sir. Mackenzie Gray's updated numbers, 297. Up two.
You have to watch what you type in there, Cam, because I might Ron Burgundy it. San Diego?
Jupiter Jennings on the carry. Minnesota has done a great job on Jupiter, averaging 5.3 this season and less than 2 yards a carry tonight.
Oh, mercy. Yeah, this is a big series here for the defense, for the Chippers here. They got to get that ball back.
Again,
Nice.
Jennings rushed behind the line of scrimmage. Anderson coming in to make the play, 3rd and long for New York.
Wow. And Tremaine was also coming from the opposite side of the field, and he didn't get the tackle, but man, he was making that running back scared.
If Minnesota gets a stop here, their ability to hang around in this game has been so impressive. It's just stunning. 6:05 to go in the 3rd quarter, but they have really struggled on 3rd and long as Gray has the blitz picked up again all day to throw. Gray's wide open at midfield, standing on the Zilligan Design Studio logo. I didn't even see Saunders. 1st down, New York.
Yeah, it was like a chameleon standing there wide open. Again, they are destroying the deep zone coverage for the Chippers. The Chippers try and go deep zone coverage, and they're always finding a gap. Gray's just picking them apart.
If Minnesota loses in this game, even though their offense has struggled all season long, Charles, I don't know that, these deep zones have actually been kind of more of a problem than the offense for Minnesota tonight. They moved the football okay. This is another play fake, caught by Saunders. He is taking over this game.
And Gray's got close to 400 yards. Just killing it.
The record, we'll double check, but I believe it's 473. Saunders, a menace tonight, already has a 90-yard touchdown. The record for receiving yards in a game this season is Mike Churchill's 274, so still a ways to go. Oh, Jennings is hit. There's a flag.
A face mask?
Holding offense.
Hold. What are they going to do with this one? Are they going to accept it and push him back? Yes, they will. 1st and 19. New York already had a face mask earlier in the game. 4:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. Play fake. Gray. Blitz. And a sack. Again, it is Randy Tremaine. 6 tackles and 2 sacks. And who would have thought, Charles, that Minnesota's defense would have more sacks tonight?
Yeah, and Tremaine, he's just running at an entirely different speed than anybody on the field. He ran through that gap like a sonic missile, man. Holy smokes.
Takeda Yuki with the card 17. Yes, a horizontal. That is our first You-Go winner of the night. Congratulations, Takeda. Jennings in the open field for the first time tonight. 20, 10, Jennings down to the 4, and that's the explosivity of Jupiter Jennings.
Oh my gosh. I thought he was in the end zone. McFadden made a last-second tackle there. Hope maybe keeping him out of the end zone. You never know, but man, what a great run.
McGee with the block on the outside to spring Jupiter.
Man.
Here's a pylon, Cam.
I love that view. That is so cool. That's amazing.
Running right at you.
Yep. You can see his nose hairs.
So, Minnesota has 1 red zone touchdown tonight so far. Can they get another one and put this back to a 2-score game?
Yeah, let's see what the defense does. I mean, they've been flying all over the field for the Chippers. Let's see if they can close this down.
1st and goal at the 4. Play fake, Gray. Gray can't find anybody open. Takes a check down. Henson could not come up with it. Ooh, that was dangerous. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, it took way too much time. Way too much time. Either just throw it out of bounds or maybe tuck it in and run.
Go! 50 plant.
3:26 to go in the 3rd. Hand off, Henson, touchdown, New York. Robert Henson in the end zone. And the Lightning, as long as they can hit the extra point, going to go back up by 2 scores. What an answer.
Yeah, the big boy takes it in. Didn't violate any rules with a spin or a juke or anything, so no penalties for him. But, man, what a great drive. That started off with that run by Jupiter Jennings. Holy smokes.
And that's a 4 off the board for the Hugo players. Extra point coming up for New York. Need this to go up by 2 scores. It is good. 3:23 to go. We continue to play some wild football here tonight on VFN. New York has a 24-15 lead.
I can't wait to see how the Chippers respond here. Buck's been having a solid game. I mean, you know, they've made some adjustments, added in a little more of medium routes and some short, quick release routes, and he's been pretty effective. Let's see if they stick with that, or maybe they dial it up and try and go deep.
Nate Hall's got a vertical Hugo on card number 2, and his great night continues, Charles.
I think he should be fine too. Nate Hall should be fine.
Had the debut with 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Needs to go buy a lotto ticket.
Yeah, now he's got a Hugo. 3:23 to go in the third. Minnesota down 9 points. They'll start from the 26-yard line. And their offense just has to keep doing what they're doing. Falk's been pretty great tonight.
Let's see. I mean, you know, they're down by 9. I hope they stay with what they started with here in the second half. But you know, we've seen some crazy things.
New York leads Minnesota in rushing yards by 10, 73-63. Dalton Brown will try to change that. He'll pick up 6, and now up to 37 yards.
That was good. Good way to add a couple extra yards to that run by Dalton Brown. Just to stretch that body forward. I know he was putting it at risk there as a target, but man, he was able to get those extra yards.
Play fake. Falk fires, caught, first down to the 48-yard line. 15 of 19 for a $156. Roland's got 5 grabs.
Yeah, both of these quarterbacks have just been putting on a clinic with the play action. I mean, you could argue they've been running a little too much, but man, when it works, it's just a thing of beauty.
What's more impressive tonight, I think, Charles, is how Minnesota's offensive front has kept Doug Falk upright. I mean, we have not seen it literally in any game this season.
We've gone to the well twice here, and we're rolling
Just
the dice.
say it. It's very impressive. Dalton Brown breaks a tackle and gets to the New York 47.
Last time you said it, they got a penalty.
Can't you just join me?
I'd like to, but I just don't want to be responsible.
2nd and 5. Doug Falk out of the gun. Hands off on a draw. Ross near a first down.
Did they give it to him?
No.
Oh, that was close.
Later with the excellent hit.
I mean, that was like an eyelash away from first down.
3rd and inches. 1 minute to go in the third. They'll hand it off. Got it. Not pretty, but Brown scoops it up. Kane Vasquez with the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, smart. I like good play calling, getting the first down, just keeping the drive going.
Kane Vasquez and Robert Henson Jr., the leaders of this New York bunch. One of the most active, dynamic duos in the league. No doubt about that. And they have done a tremendous amount of work to get New York improved and looking better throughout the course of the season. They're trying to close this one out here at home. Minnesota's giving them all they can handle. First down and 10. Doug Falk finds an open receiver. Tyler down to the 23-yard line. First down.
Yep, Falk finally comes. I think that's his first catch in the night, Cam, right?
His second, but his first deep down the field. I was thinking the same thing too, Charles.
Yeah, the first one that mattered.
Yes.
Just kidding. He's dangerous, but they clearly trying to shut him down, and you know, it's only a matter of time that he's going to get some separation on the coverage, and you know, Papa's going to find him.
With those That
Come on,
gold
set. 10-2 start.
wristbands at the bottom of his get-up. That is the end of the third quarter. Wow, Minnesota holding their own. We have had a show-stopping night in the Big Apple. You're watching the UFL on VFN. Alongside Charles Doherty, I'm Cameron Irvine. Another excellent UFL matchup for you tonight. 12 minutes to go in the fourth. 24-15 is your score. Falk's pass inside the 10. Are they going to give him forward progress? Yes, first down.
God, he went back like 30 yards.
Like 1 billion yards.
Yes, 1 billion.
Granger with the catch.
Let's go, defense. Our time. It's our
Go.
First down to the 12.
57 to Mike.
Can Minnesota get another touchdown in the red zone? They hand
I
it
knew
to
they were
Tyler
sweeping.
Falk on an end around, and Tyler Falk did not trust his instincts, Charles. He had a lane.
Yeah, that was another play that
60 outlaw. 60 outlaw.
All right, we're back. Third down and 25. We apologize for the technical difficulties here at the studios. After a sack, it is Doug Falk on 3rd and 25. Incomplete in the end zone. And Minnesota's going to have to kick a field goal, Charles.
Yeah, well, they'll only be down by 6, so walk away with some points. But I missed what happened before they were sacked. Was that a deep route they ran?
Yeah, well, yeah, they got sacked, and Doug Falk actually avoided the sack at first, went back another 4 or 5 yards right into the teeth of the Lightning pressure, and then the deep ball there into the end zone, unfortunately, didn't come up with anything. So a 44-yard field goal coming up for Minnesota. And that kick is straight through the uprights. So now 24-18.
Wow. And Cam, I'm sorry, when that last little glitch, my rocking chair went back on the cable, and I'm so sorry.
No, our ISP has really been giving us some problems. It was fixed all day, and we continue to have some issues here at the studios, so we're going to be looking into that over the next couple of days. But we're holding on here with 10:03 to go in the fourth quarter, and Minnesota is too, down just 6.
And it gives you something to do on the off days.
Yeah. because
That's all
a
you
day
need.
off is not enough.
Yes, right? That's
We have had, let's see, 9 new numbers called. Well, why don't you read the last 9 numbers called for the people, Chuck?
last 9, okay? So let's go 44, 18, 24, 4, 35, 17, 51 plus 32. Is that 9?
And 10.
And that's 10.
They swing it outside, and that snuck in there. That's the first time that New York has done any kind of flip out to the far sideline and lost him 2 yards.
Look what happens.
Yeah, look what happens. Well, I mean, New York has been one of the worst teams at executing any kind of RPO smoke like that, and yeah, they just are not good at that. And that one snuck in there. A lot of components to the book, Charles.
I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Mackenzie Gray, 2nd and 12. Fires it outside. That's Gordon, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and about 8. 9:23 left.
See what she does. And hopefully we don't see a play action, because 3rd and 8 is not the right time to run it. Let's see. That's a lot of highlights for a 3-yard gain.
We're giving our camera crew some extra love out there.
Let's go now. 30 base.
9:10 to go in the fourth quarter. You can see the passing yard discrepancy more than double for New York. Gray against more pressure. Henson Jr. with the catch, but he's short. You know, Minnesota has been sending pressure a lot tonight on 3rd down, hoping to get the football out of the quarterback's hands. It worked that time.
Man, the linebackers for the Chippers are just playing insane tonight. Great closing speed and great coverage as well. Look at that. He was a good 12 yards away and was able to shut that down.
Randy Tremaine, Brennan Allen, Champ Boyd have been the best unit on the field, I think, for either team tonight. They are putting together a terrific game as New York's punt unfortunately bounces into the end zone. So with 8:27 to go, the Chippers have a shot, down 6.
Fox in the right frame, man. He knows what he's doing tonight. Hasn't made. Well, I'm going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it.
I'm not going to say it either.
He really well.
I'm not saying it either. 1st and 10 to the 20. Falk to throw. Near side, caught right at the sticks. 1st down. That's hauled in by Granger.
That's a good pass right there. I mean, the coverage was solid, but just put it where only the wide receiver could bring it in.
41st offensive play of the night for Minnesota. 17 runs, 23 passes. 1st and 10, Falk to throw again. Again, right past the sticks. Caught by Rowland, 1st down.
I mean, his presence on the field, he just knows exact time to get rid of that ball. I mean, there's not a lot of time when you do that route where you turn around and the defensive back is right on your numbers. You got to get rid of that ball quickly, and you got a small window. And, man, Falk's one of the best at getting rid of the ball.
Charles, I am so amped right now. This game has been so good. It's just so much fun. Oh,
It's a great game.
7:20 to go in the 4th. 24-18 New York. Falk again will throw. Has time. Caught. 1st down to the 32-yard line. 20th completion for Doug, and again it's Rowland.
And Rowland, what was so impressive is he catches the ball, and he's so quick at turning around and heading upfield and putting the burners on and getting another 6 to 10 yards at the end of that catch.
To give you an idea, Tyler Falk averages 91 yards a game. He only has 2 catches tonight. Rowland averages 56. He has 115 receiving yards this evening. Under 7 to go. 24-18, New York by 6. Man in motion. Falk gonna throw. They stay with the hot hand, and this time it's knocked away. St. Louis with the deflection.
I mean, there's 6.5 minutes left on the clock, and they've been going pass heavy here. They're kind of diverting on what I think got them into this competitive game. They're passing way too much, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, Charles. It's not their advantage, although they're feeling like it is right now. And, Doug almost threw a pick. And this is what you're talking about, Charles, right? This is not a high-volume pass team. They're getting into a track meet with the Lightning.
Yeah, that ball was right into Devonta Jasmine's mailbox, and he was ready to put some postage stamp on that one.
It'd be a 49-yard field goal from here. 3rd down and 10. Play fake again on 3rd and long. Doug gonna take off and run, and Doug has the 1st down into the red zone of the 20, his 1st carry of the night.
And I think that was his smartest decision of the night, because everything downfield was clearly locked down, and he had to run with it or throw it out of bounds, and made the wise choice and kept them alive.
Cain Vasquez was coming in for the kill shot. Just missed. Under 6 to go. 1st and 10 at the 20. Handoff Ross. Ross down to the 12-yard line on his 5th carry for 28 yards.
I love that draw play. After all those passes, man, they've got their heels back. They're ready to go into pass coverage, and, man, just run that draw and just surprise them.
2nd down and 3. Falk to throw. Gotta find someone, gonna take off and run it himself. Shoot someone! Lost the ball! Picked up by New York at the 6-yard line!
Oh, no.
Wow.
That was such an amazing play just to end that way. That's, oh, my gosh. Got to be frustrating for the Chippers.
And that ball was definitely out.
Yes. Yeah. His knees weren't even bent when he dropped that ball.
That's the #1 red zone defense right there, Charles. Gerard Lipsy with the forced fumble, and New York survives another drive.
Oh, my gosh. This game has gotten my heart racing.
Come on, set.
Second turnover of the night for Minnesota. 5:26 to go in the fourth quarter, and here we are, New York inside their own 10 again. Robert Henson on the carry, getting to the 12-yard line. That's his 8th touch on the ground. 2nd and 5.
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat, Cam. Just run.
Under 5 to go, total yards. Can you believe it, Charles? 401 to 305, much closer than we were at the half.
Yeah.
And there again is Tremaine in the backfield, 3rd down.
Amazing. What a game. What a game.
Ready, break.
3rd down and 3 for New York. Up 6. Minnesota's defense this time sits back in a zone, and the pass is caught. 1st down to the 22. The Chippers deviated a little, and Gordon found the open space.
Yeah, that was a nice pass. Nice pass. The only bad part was he went out of bounds.
Probably the best throw of the second half for Gray, who's been really quiet after an explosive first half in her first game as the quarterback of the Lightning.
I think that series in the end zone was a little level setting for her.
For sure. I think New York, after that, they kind of dialed it back and said, okay, we got a ball game here. Play fake to Henson. Henson is covered. Gray floats a wheel route. It's caught by Gordon. Picks up 11.
That was a battle for the ball. And the wide receiver clearly won on that one.
Under 4 to go, and Gordon stayed in bounds. Keeps the clock moving. Jennings with a vicious block right up front to pick up 8.
It was a pretty big hit by Allen, too, but kept the clock rolling.
What a night here in the UFL. Minnesota looking for a stand. They're showing pressure. They got 7 on the line. They'll hand it off to Jennings, and look at Tremaine in the backfield again.
Oh my gosh. What an animal. What an animal. Again, a different gear for that man.
That's his 5th tackle for loss tonight. That ties a UFL record set by Rip Cubey against Miami on May 27th, but it's the first time a linebacker has had 5 TFLs in a game this season.
It's amazing. I mean, we were talking about Brennan Allen all night, but Tremaine has just been on fire.
3rd down and 3 for New York, and Minnesota get off the field. Gray wide open over the middle to Gordon, and now Minnesota's got to burn timeouts. They have been terrible on 3rd down.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. I mean, just basically just ran to the 1st down mark and turned around and wide open.
Wow, Minnesota got their backs up against the wall now. Another game against a high-quality opponent this season where they've played so well but appear to be coming up just short. They got to get a stop here, and the handoff goes to Jennings. He goes right up the middle of the field and gets 9 more.
Huge run. Huge run. 9 yards, man. That was not good there for the Chippers.
Down to 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning. New York, since they recovered the Doug Falk fumble inside the 10-yard line, has not given the football back.
Right here.
Can Minnesota get another stop? On 2nd down, they cannot. Henson all the way to the 39, so the 2-minute warning will stop the clock on 2nd down. It's not over yet, but what an answer for the Lightning after the turnover.
Yeah, I think one of the things New York is going to take away from this game is they got to get Henson more involved in the in the game plan.
10 Lobo.
Got Henson at fullback, Jennings at running back at the moment, but they mix it up a lot in this backfield. They go play fake. Gray, deep shot. Oh, and just missed him. Gray, a rare, inaccurate throw, and Minnesota's saying, I'll take that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We can take a breather here for a second.
That receiver was open, too. Fooled everybody. Fooled me. Handoff Jennings. Oh, look at Jupiter Jennings getting through the pile and almost getting a 1st down.
Lifting the legs up, too. Fighting his way to get those extra yards.
Jupiter Jennings not known for the physicality in between the tackles, but showed it there. 2 minutes to go here in New York. 3rd down and 1. Last stand for Minnesota at the 31-yard line. Handoff Jennings. Got it. First down.
You know, I think you need to put more people in the box, up on the line on that type of play. I mean, you know, you're down by 6, you know.
3rd down, strike again for Minnesota. Here's a look down the line. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, very close. Maybe they'll review.
Will be a booth review. Not enough time to. There's no. So, time logic. 35-second play clock. Trying to avoid 4th down. There's no kneel downs on 1st down in the UFL with this amount of time left. We'll see how the maths as we go down the stretch here. Carnes with the TFL.
Yeah, that might be a little too late, but. I honestly, unless something major happens here, I don't think they have enough time to do anything. And that's unfortunate because they've hung in there.
Yeah, there's the kneel down here. And they're going to get this with about 11 seconds when it's 3rd down. So, yeah, I think New York's got this. They put Minnesota away. What a game, Charles. It's probably the most anticlimactic ending this game could have had, but it was full of fireworks right from the jump with Mackenzie Gray at quarterback.
It was one fumble away, Cam. If he would have held on to that one, we could have been looking at a different situation here, possibly overtime.
Doug Falk fumbles the game away for Minnesota. They fall to 2-8. New York improves to 6-4, and as Kane Vasquez posted in the chat, that's their 4th win. That was a 1-possession victory. That's how we do in the UFL. What a game. Every team out for blood. Minnesota 2-8, New York 6-4. They fall to the Lightning 24-18. Your final thoughts and your player of the game, Charles, in this wackadoo football game.
Ooh, I mean, a lot of game balls out for New York. They started off strong, and I thought this was going to be a blowout in the first half. But Minnesota, I mean, you got to give credit to them. They hung in, and it was just one fumble away from potentially tying this up. It's unfortunate. They've done it a couple times this way this season, but wow, the Lightning. Yeah, I got to give it. The game ball is going to go to Gray, new on the team, through 349 yards. That's incredible. And that beautiful action play, playing out there like, has been with this club and this playbook for seasons. So I'm going to give it to her, but also, you can't forget Jupiter Jennings and Henson. They really had good games. The
New York Lightning improved to 6-4, just one game back of the Rochester Pioneers as the Metro Division comes down to the wire. For Charles Doherty, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been a presentation of the Virtual Football Network and the UFL. For CJ Zilligan and all of us involved in the UFL, this has been another great special UFL doubleheader in prime time. Game night returns on Friday night with 3 great matchups at 7 p.m. Eastern, Fresno and Austin in prime time. For all of us at the UFL, thanks for watching and thank you for being a fan. Good night, everybody.